House of Glory wrestling fans, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Live for the moment was a great way for House of Glory to cap off a memorable 2024. The night, to my surprise, begins with the steel cage match as we saw Carlos La Sombra Ramirez do battle with the Dark Star Idris Jackson, accompanied by that bookworm Hillary P. Wisdom. I think before both men were in the cage and in the ring, and before the bell even rang, Carlos attacked right away and busted Idris open. And I think they went out. I think Carlos left the cage and he was chasing Wisdom out of the around the ring, and Wisdom he went underneath the ramp. But eventually they both got back in the cage, and then the bell rang, and then all of a sudden Carlos. Carlos, sorry, he jumped off the top of the steel cage, and as he was trying to get his balance on the top of the cage, like his head almost hit the lights above the ring. Wisdom came in the ring and attacked Ramirez with that book of his. Eventually, Jackson got out the door with assistance from Wisdom, and Idris Jackson won the steel cage match over Carlos La Sombra Ramirez at 10 minutes 17 seconds. And then, as the cage was being taken down, ring announcer David Adams introduces the commissioner, Jason Solomon, who comes out, and he's interrupted by Raheem Royal and Jay Armani of the Cold-Blooded Killers, and they attack Jason until Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, Private Party, come out, and Royal and Armani, they left through the crowd. And Private Party took the microphone. I forgot what they said. In the meantime, the paramedics carried Jason away from the ring. Then we had our second match of the night, which was a six-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship, as we saw Jay Bougie versus Gringo Loco versus Darren Richardson versus Sweet Cheeks Joey Silva versus Dante Griffin versus, making his return, Montequilla, who comes out to the theme from the Mucha Lucha cartoon. Pretty good match these guys had. Eventually, a young woman comes out with a crutch and hits Montequilla with it. Richardson gets a code red on Montequilla. Darren Richardson defeated Montequilla, Dante Griffin, Jay Bougie, Joey Silver, Gringo Loco, I hope I mentioned all six, to become the new Cruiserweight champion. After the match, Jay Bougie gets his hands on the crutch and he attacks Silver and Montequilla with it. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Darren Richardson, the match was 9 minutes 51 seconds. Then we had then we had what turned out to be, it was the women's title match, as Allie Katch challenged Megan Bayne for the women's title. Pretty good match these two ladies had. Megan Bayne ended up defeating Allie Katch with a Tombstone Piledriver, 13 minutes 21 seconds, to retain the House of Glory Women's Championship. Next match was pretty hard-hitting, as Jake something, I don't know if he's still part of TNA or not, he challenged Zilla Fatu for the Crown Jewel Championship, and a lot of great close moments in this one. Zilla Fatu defeated Jake something with the Flying Samoan Spike at 14 minutes 30 seconds to retain the Crown Jewel Championship. Then on the screen they show at the back of an ambulance where ref Nick Shin, he's Jason Solomon in there, and he said he left two people in charge. And then we get back to the action as we see Matt Riddle making his return as he took on the debuting Turbo Fumi Nakuta, who's a MMA fighter. He signed his contract with House of Glory earlier this year, and I don't know if he's still doing MMA or not, but it seemed like he, I guess that's probably why he hasn't debuted until this moment with House of Glory. Okay. I forgot how, but Turbo Fumi Nakuta defeated Matt Riddle at 8 minutes 16 seconds. After the match, Riddle hits a RKO cutter, RK Bro cutter on Fumi after the match. 8 minutes 16 seconds was the time. And then they went to intermission, and boy, it was such a sea of humanity in that building, especially to get from my seat all the way to the men's bathroom. Okay. The action resumed. We were Mike Santana, the heavyweight champion, comes out, and he had an open challenge. But all of a sudden, some music's playing, and Santana's looking up the ramp. A masked man, I guess, came through the crowd. He attacks him from behind, and then, Jay Armani and Raheem Royal Royal and Raheem Royal and Jay Armani, they hit the ring, and the masked man takes his mask off, and not surprising, it was Charles Mason. And Mason was going to cash in his title shot right then and there, but all of a sudden we hear I don't even know who sings the song, I Dare You, and the logo's up on the screen, and out came the Bookers, Amazing Red and Brian XL, and they save Santana from the attack, and then they decide, okay, Santana, sorry, and they end up doing a 6-man tag team match right then and there, which saw Mike Santana and the Bookers, Brian XL and the Amazing Red, defeat the Cold-Blooded Killers, Charles Mason, Raheem Royal, and Jay Armani at 19 minutes, 1 second. And the fans were all over Jay Armani about, keeping his pants up. And even there were people, some were chatting shit stain at him. Now after the match, Santana got a microphone, got to talk to the crowd, as did Brian, and they pointed up the screen, and it said that Japanese wrestler Kenta, who says he's making a return to House of Glory, I can't remember he was part of House of Glory in the past, that Kenta will challenge Mike Santana for the House of Glory Championship when they return to Queens on Saturday, January 25th. Okay? Then it was time for the main event of the show. As we saw, Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, current TNA Tag Team Champions, do battle with Jay Lyon and Ringmaster Midas, the ringleader Midas Black, main event, MANE, in a pretty good matchup, which saw the Hardy Boys defeat main event when Jeff pinned Midas with the Swanton at 16 minutes, 20 seconds. After the match, the Hardy Boys get the microphone and they give Private Party their due because the Hardys were there long ago and Private Party were their opponents. And then Private Party came out, and I forgot what Private Party had said because, it was such a long show, folks. And I can't remember it all either once these shows go in the books. And Jeff Hardy eventually got the microphone, and we had House of Glory karaoke, shall we say. Jeff Hardy sang that early 1990s hit, If I Ever Fall in Love by Shy. I was in high school when that song came out. And Jeff was singing a song that he believes in Santa Claus. I forgot the words to it. And then eventually they all come out and okay. Oh man. Man, it was such a long night. And by the time I reached the damn train station, the J trains were no longer stopping in Queens, and that's the case until 5 in the morning, 5 a.m. Monday morning. So I had to take the E train and then get off at Bentwick and take a shuttle bus. No, no, on the personal notes, it was great seeing some fellow hogomaniacs. I saw, hmm, Erica, Rachel. I did notice one former wrestler. He never worked for House of Glory, but I'm not going to give him his fraction of fame. All right. Well, House of Glory is having, let me see, yeah, two shows. They're kicking off 2025 with two shows. Yeah, two shows in January of 2025. All right. So first, they return to the Chicago area on Friday, January 17th, as they present Watch the Throne. Matches already announced for that show. Zilla Fatu will defend his Crown Jewel Championship against Matt Cardona. Mike Santana will defend the heavyweight title against Ricky Starks. I certainly won't be at that show, but they return to Queens on Saturday, January 25th, as they present Final Warning, which already announced as mentioned. Mike Santana will defend his championship against Kenta. Former WWE Tag Team Champion Haku will be there for a meet and greet. Um, one lady in front of me enjoyed me laughing like the Count on Sesame Street as wrestlers were kicking out at one or two. I mean, House of Glory 2024, they did have a great year, I will say. Ugh, I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe they wanted the Hardy Boys to go on last because I thought maybe the cage match would have gone on last. But they managed to take the cage down quick right after the cage match ended, especially with the Commissioner Jason Solomon in the ring. Uh, ah, shit. I don't even know what else I could say about this show. But, it was a good time. And even though I'm not coming January 25th, can't wait to be back. Seeing the new year, House of Glory.